Let's hear it for Dan Mitchell.
What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? My name's Dan. This is like my third time doing stand-up. So.
Right?
Yeah. You're gonna hate it, don't worry. So I'm born and raised here in California, but I did grow up in Montana. Weird thing about Montana is it was a small town I grew up in, and small towns, it was just a bunch of white people. Like, there's no other races in this town. Like, to give you an example, my first introduction to African American music was through the California Raisins. That's how bad it was up there. If you guys know Spanish, guapo actually means handsome. I know that now. Back in the day when I was a little kid, I thought it meant like asshole or something. So I'd be joking around with my friends like, hey, fuck you, guapo, hey. Half the time they didn't know if I wanted to like fuck them or like kill them. You know, so I just had to like make do with whatever I could. My family's a little weird, I'll tell you this. Basically, my mom's brother, my uncle, he marries a girl when I first moved back up to Montana and everything, when I was a little kid. So my uncle marries this woman who's now my aunt, and a few years later they break up and get divorced and everything. A year or two after that, my mom marries one of my aunt's brothers. So basically, my family tree is kind of more like a Celtic knot. We're just, dealing with what we can up there. Another weird thing when I was a little kid, I'm sure a lot of you had to deal with it too, I had to deal with it a lot, was dial-up internet. Because it's a small town, you don't get all the fancy shit later in life. The worst thing about dial-up internet as a kid is trying to watch porn. Half the time I'm watching this, I'm jerking off. I don't know if I'm jerking off to like 8-bit cartoons or like a victim from Cops, but I'm making do with whatever I can. So I did move back down here to California back in 07, and I'm riding in my car, or driving my car I should say. My best friend who's gay is sitting next to me, and all my shit's packed in the back. Which is a weird transition, I always forget about that. But anyway, we get to that weird border patrol, and they pull you over, they stop you, and they're like, do you guys have any animals? No. And he's like, well, do you have any, food or fruits? And I just did a slow turn to my friend, riding passenger. He's pissed off, but the guy lets us off because he's laughing his ass off. So we get down here. Now, the weird thing about going from a small town to a big town is there's a lot of stuff you don't see in a small town. So when I'm back down here, I'm driving along the highway, all of a sudden I slam on the brakes and pull over, because for the first time in my life, I see a real life prostitute. I'm taking pictures and everything. I'm like, there should be tours of this. Like, if you look to your left, you'll notice a whore in her natural habitat. The one on the left has a runny nose. That means she's full. Another weird thing. You see a lot of homeless people down here. It's really sad. But you see a lot of homeless people talking to themselves. It's kind of creepy. I found a way to give back to the community and help out the best I can. I go around putting scripts in their hands, so it just looks like they're preparing for a role. And I'm seeing great results. I too, apparently it's a comic thing, have a little trouble with women. A couple of years ago I was at a diner having a good conversation with the waitress. I thought everything was going well. So I get the receipt, and I take a condom and I paperclip it to a $20 bill, and I wrote, which tip do you want first? Now I'm 86 from Denny's. What's my one? Another time there was a Catholic girl I worked with. We were hitting it off pretty well and everything. Until I decided to say, hey babe, you know the differences between me and Jesus? Doesn't take me as long for a second coming. I don't think I'm going to hear back from her, but we'll never know. There's also a coworker I work with. She's basically like the town bicycle. She'll sleep with anyone there. And one day I called her out on it. I'm like, hey, you'll pretty much fuck anyone here. And she's like, yeah, everyone but you. How does that make you feel? And I just smiled from ear to ear, and I'm like, clean. Very clean. There is an upside, though. I have a lot of girls telling me I look very nice and sexy on my back. It's not more like a sexual thing. It's basically they're just saying gravity really pulls your tits and gut back, and you look handsome on your back. So we're going to go with that, but thank you. That's my time.